Are you guys familiar with Mia Khalifa?
Yes, Arabic.
Arabic girl.
Yes.
Right. She recently made the news where a football player was trying to holler at her through her DMs, and she ended up posting the DMs on her Instagram.
Yeah.
There's a meme that kind of came up that I posted on my Instagram. We'll do DMs, we'll do DPs.
That's funny.
What are your thoughts about that? Because you just mentioned that you have celebrity guys, probably girls too, approach you.
Actually.
Yep. But you purposely didn't say their names.
Right.
Why do you think, I mean, personally, what do you feel about someone who does put people on blast like that?
It's not classy. It's the same thing as having a breakup on a formal, like, social media. Like, why are you putting your business out there? No one needs to know that. Reserve yourself. Be semi-classy. Because once it's out there, especially on that, it's there forever. Everyone can pull it up. And it's not, especially if you're dating somebody, or for instance, a football player. He's on a team. Now his team is getting bad publicity, not just him.
Sure.
And it's not fair for the team or him. She should have just kept it to herself. If you don't want to date him, then don't date him. It happens. Sorry.
Well, we got to remember first, the player, and his name escapes me at the moment, but...
Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
But the
his
guy...
name is, hold on. Duke Williams.
All right, so the guy was direct messaging her a number of times. So perhaps it got to the point where she felt that she was tired of this guy maybe close to harassing her.
Okay, so I'm looking at the DMs here.
Yes.
He hit her in February, March, May, June, and I guess July was the last straw.
She finally was like, "Look, leave me alone." But I don't think she should have. I don't think she should have went public with his names.
Well, so she replied to the final DM. You know, and the DMs are, "How you been? Coming to Vegas? Yo, you in Miami? You know, googly eyes, coming to Miami." So her final response was, "I am in Miami with my boyfriend, whose dick game is A1."
So then what's funny is...
And then she posted that.
Why did she start following him? Because the only way you can do that...
No, on Instagram, you don't have to be following somebody.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
Good
you
point.
could slide into someone's DMs. But you could also ignore somebody. There's an ignore button right there. I have people who hit me all the time who probably think...
You're like, leave me.
Yeah. Anyone who I don't want to talk to, I just ignore. And I just keep it moving.
I don't know. I think if he kept pressing the issue, maybe she just got tired of it. I don't think she should have blasted him out. That wasn't necessary. But it happens a lot. I mean, you know, Lisa Ann's dated collegiate athletes.
Put people on blast.
But those guys were actually in relationships. I think Notre Dame had a few players. Was it Notre Dame? A wide receiver or something like that?
Let's look it up.
A young dude. But either way, it was mutual, whereas he had no problem saying, "I'm dating Lisa Ann," and she had no problem saying, "I'm dating this guy." In those cases, fine, but you know, the fault may lie on the dude as much as the girl in that case.
Yeah.
Maybe he shouldn't have been pressing the issue. Maybe she shouldn't have put him on blast.
Well, you guys sell sex.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys take sexual acts, put them on camera, and sell them.
Right.
Right? So you guys, it should be no surprise to anyone in the adult industry that, you know, the opposite sex or even the same sex is going to be attracted to you and is going to try to holler at you because of what they've seen and whatever else. I mean, it is, I guess, a compliment, right?
I agree. Compliment.
So why would this just not be just a completely normal thing? Like, why would someone get offended at someone trying to holler at them when you guys are, you know?
All right, I'll just say this real quick. There's a bit of entitlement that a lot of professional people operate with. And maybe that feeling of entitlement meant that if he just throws it out there that he'd like to meet you, being her, that she would just be like, "Yes, I want to meet you just because of who you are." In her eyes, perhaps she was not impressed with whom he is as a pro athlete. And so the entitlement that he thought he was going to get just because she does porno, which means a lot of people think that means green light for everything, and they're surprised that it's not green light for everything. So I think that's the sense of entitlement that maybe got him tripped up and thinking that he could just be like, yo, see me because I'm a pro athlete. She's like, hey, I'm a pro sex performer. I'm not impressed.
I'm a sex lead. I tell everyone.
She might be not impressed by that.
I'm a sex lead. Sex is the ultimate like sport.
Sex lead?
Yep, sex lead.
Sex lead?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, like an athlete, a sex lead. Okay, fair enough.
I mean, and you have, what do athletes do in their spare time? Most of the time they're jerking off, they're not at practice. It's a fact. I know so many football players, etc.
Wait, they're jerking off?
Yeah, they're jerking off because they're not at home. Their wives aren't with them. They're men. You're high testosterone all day long. You need a release. So they go, they jerk off, go to sleep. At least this is every pro athlete I've ever talked to, and there's been a lot.
And they're watching porno, you're saying, when they're jerking off.
Yeah, of course. And so they start to like feel like you know somebody. It's like, oh, this is so-and-so. I've had guys who are like, yo, you're amazing, and we've had a lot of fun. I'm like, okay. I'm like, cool, because I get it. Like,
okay,
this is their time.
It's a very intimate scenario with which they're becoming familiar with you. So
yeah. And so it's like, I get it, and I understand. Like, that's also my tagline is saving marriages one scene at a time. Instead of them going off and fucking somebody else, they jerked off to me or whoever, and they're good. So it's like, why? I don't know. Like, I think she did it because she wanted the attention. Clearly, it's like, hey, look.
Well, she already. I mean, she developed a name for herself based on her ethnicity, and that served her well. I mean, maybe that's why he even knew who she was.
She's Middle Eastern. She's Lebanese, I think.
Lebanese, and she had I believe they've had a hard time with her culture, really.
Right. Well, she's played up the, you know, like the traditional Middle Eastern headdress in her scenes.
With her mom or aunt or something like that.
Something like that, and
maybe she shouldn't have agreed to do certain. I mean, because she knew what she was doing. I mean. But the directors ask you to do certain things, and you got to decide for yourself.
I won't say anything. Like if we do a scene, we both don't use degrading words. Like I'm never like, oh, give me your black cock. I never make it like, just give me your cock. Like there's no difference.
Well, there is a demand for it, but in her case, when it becomes religious and cultural, and then to turn in the face of that, I mean, you're looking at family members that really would have a dramatic effect on them, not just her. You know, so we don't carry that particular luggage with us.
I mean, this is a very interesting point. Why don't you ever see Middle Eastern male or female porn stars, really?
Guys, because they're small dicks.
So you're telling me Middle Eastern guys aren't well endowed?
I've seen, and yeah, all the ones I've seen, not so big. Just facts.
Okay. You don't see a lot of Asian male porn stars either.
Correct. Not large penises. Now, do you know the cultures as to why they say you have bigger dicks? Because, what's the word I want to use? Their chicks are more loyal, basically. And they're more loyal, and our societies, or as the human race went on, Japanese, Chinese, they love each other and they stay in their marriages for all their life. Where, especially Americans, we tend to be very, oh yeah, love you, bye. And next one. So as people are less loyal, penis size increases in those cultures.
Well,
wait.
I don't know about. I mean,
I was watching this documentary.
So people. Okay, hold on. So the bigger the penis, the less the loyalty, or the
correct.
The bigger the penis, the less. But from the man or the woman?
The culture. Like, okay. So did you watch the small dick? Like the guy did a documentary on him having a really small penis.
No, I never saw that.
Okay, so. Whenever you get bored,
I saw
it's the same one that's
You saw it?
I saw that. That guy, man.
He almost had his penis enlarged with the technique that they have in Japan.
Yeah, but you know, first and foremost, with the reason why you don't see a lot of Asian men in porn is because they have their industry in Japan and Asia, and they do well enough without American porno. So if you look at Japanese porn, the guys are Japanese. They don't need to come over here to establish themselves.
Right, but there's a lot of Asian Americans.
Yeah, but even so,
there's a lot of Asian Americans.
Yeah, but okay,
You're right.
If to compete in Los Angeles is like the NBA, it is it's the pinnacle of adult media. So you're competing with guys from different ethnicities, German guys, you know, Caribbean guys, what have you. Everybody's bringing big stick to the table, but in terms of the fact that there's few Asian men, that's just because, so I'm sure there's some Japanese men with big dicks, and they're working very well in Japan.
Phoenix, have you ever seen a Japanese guy or an Asian guy with a big dick?
No. Kenny Styles was the closest?
I'll argue that a population as great as those in numbers has similar size within their community. It's a numeric
This is a shout out
fact.
to whoever has a big dick in Japanese or Chinese. Please post it on Instagram.
And the thing
whatever.
about it is, like, physiologically speaking, there's reasoning as to why different ethnicities have different physical attributes that have nothing to do with promiscuity, because it dates so far back before that, And we don't need to get into all that as to why, men of African descent have larger penises. It has a lot to do with where the ovaries rest in the African woman's uterus, or in that region. See what I'm saying? If the hot temperature causes the ovaries to rest higher in the woman's body, which needs a longer delivery method, thusly the larger size of the African penis, or the penis descending from Africa. And it's just basically physiological, has nothing to do with one being better than the other. Just there's reasons why your hair lays straight and flat,
right,
to keep heat or keep cold air out. And my hair is curly, if I did have it, but it is to move oxygen freely across my scalp. My wide nostril is to receive more cool oxygen in the African temperate zones. Whereas an Anglo like yourself would have a narrower nostril to keep cold air out.
Right.
If you look at the fat cell content in Asiatic peoples, is to keep them warmer. See what I'm saying? That's why it's very difficult for Asiatic peoples to stray. If you look at the body, there's very few ripped up Asian bodybuilders. But it's physiological. It's not that.
Right.
There's reasoning. Dark eyes are to keep to shield against higher levels of sunlight and rays in the eyes. Whereas in your case, you have lighter eyes. You don't need the melanin in your eyes. See what I'm saying? My people are from the sun. That's why you have dark eyes too. But there's melanin that creates the darkness in the eyes, and that's to shield against sunlight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, there's reasoning that, like, I wouldn't say that I have a big dick because my people bone more. Yeah, like, what I'm saying? It's like, no, shit was hot over there back in Africa,
Okay.
And the ovaries just rested a little higher, so I got to bring something to get there a little bit, a little closer delivery.
I'm gonna let you know we've seen me Heisman you many a time, so
yes.
This is true. Mine's definitely lower. Look at him. He loves the fact that he can hurt me.
So back.
You were unbreakable.
Oh.
Well, so back to Middle Eastern women.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Mia Khalifa is the only Middle Eastern girl I could think of who's done porn. Can you think of any others?
There's Priya Ray.
Priya Ray. Yep.
Priya Ray. Okay, what is she?
She's also, and then Lebanese, Amy Anderson.
Oh yeah.
And
but she comes off. She plays it like she's Canadian.
Yeah.
But her peoples are Lebanese.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is I think with Mia, perhaps she has used that as her calling card, or maybe directors. She may not have done it of her own volition. Maybe directors use that as a reason, right, to make it, and to spin it in such to make it popularize her without her maybe having decided that was going to be her calling card.
True.
You know what I'm saying? If I can make more money by having a Lebanese girl play into being Middle Eastern, especially in this political climate, I make more money. She might have been like, wow, I never intended to let that be my calling card, or for that to have become a calling card.
But it ended up that way.
Like there's another girl, Veronica Vane, who has a past history in the financial district in New York. She may not have come into the industry thinking, oh, I'm going to say, hey, from Wall Street to X Street. But the industry may have said, hey, we can play up the fact that, this
business girl.
Yeah.
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 But as far as just rapping and being able to put words together and flow and say what you want to say and make it rhyme, he's definitely one of the nicest when it comes to that.
Would you say he's the king of hip hop?
Nah, I wouldn't say that because I'm in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. You know what I'm saying?
I said for some reason I feel like Some of them motherfuckers is just renting the house to do that shit. And find out some of them was. I can't do that. You know, I ain't want to do that. I wanted to show where the fuck I was living at the time.